Hello everyone, welcome to Open House Thursday on Your View. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host here. Hi ladies.
Hello.
Who is our guest co-host today? For me in the building. Thank you. She replacing Uwa. Uwa had to be somewhere, so we had to rush and call. We said, for me, please, can you make it? Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Hi, YK in the building.
Yo.
How you doing?
Hey.
You're looking nice and pink today.
Thank you.
Anything that's happening that you want to let us know?
I remember the one gist I wanted to tell you. Now I've forgotten the gist. I don't know.
Imagine.
Old age is not good. Though.
Yeah. YK, only 52.
Only?
No.
I'm not even 52. I'm,
Yeah,
50,
56.
I'm almost 56 now.
I know you're 54.
I'm living 55.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm almost 56.
I thought it was 54 actually.
I was 55 we did this year now.
Yes, now, can't you
YK,
remember?
you see how she was dancing on Sunday? Damn, YK, you gotta take it easy. You're approaching 56. Very soon now, we're saying 60. And these your high heels. Okay.
It's just, I'm just praying to be a grandmother soon. That's my prayer.
Very soon.
This is Nigeria, help me pray.
Don't worry.
But
Your wife
60 is the new 40.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, now so.
You know what they say? You know why they say that? Because when they reach 60, they're just like, I'm 60 already. Okay, let's make it the new 40.
How you doing, Jermaine?
I'm good. That's all.
That's it? I'm glad you're good today.
Have you killed your cows?
I thought no.
Is
The
it
cow-
true?
We've digested
They didn't give
and,
us,
we've
They
digested-
didn't give
Yeah, I
us
didn't touch the
meat.
cow anyway, but we got the lady in the cafeteria to kill them for us.
And they never gave us meat.
And because maybe you guys did not show up that day that it was distributed. Yes, the cows were killed for our consumption. And actually, for me, you actually chaired the killing of the cow.
So it's,
distribution.
she's the one we're supposed to
Yes,
accuse.
she's the one
You
that
didn't
shared it.
send us
Okay.
meat.
If you need more meat, let's get together after the show.
Aha, that's what's up. Give me some points. How are you doing for me? Let's just ask you.
I'm doing
generally,
wonderful.
How is concert? Because you know you're a concert woman.
Yes, concert
So
is
give a
doing
few
very
seconds to tell us how
well.
concert is doing.
As we speak this morning, concert is in Badagry.
Okay.
I am the first
nice.
roundabout doing the distribution. So if you live in the Badagry environment, just quickly get on the road, go to the first roundabout, and you meet the team.
For free?
Yes, for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Terms and conditions apply,
Yes.
but at least it's free.
It's too far for me to go through. Nima, if you are
No,
here,
we can
quickly
easily
run
get.
there.
We can easily,
Nima,
look, it's in your backyard. We can give you one before you leave the show. Trust me.
And we'll
Right?
be from tomorrow. You know, trade fair starts tomorrow at
Yeah.
Safari Balewa Square.
Oh, that's
Oh, you're going
true.
to be at the trade fair.
We are already setting up today. so
fantastic.
tomorrow we'll be ready to go.
Oh, we're gonna be at the trade fair too. So
Yes.
we'll stop by
Yeah.
and say hello to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, welcome back. We're going to start with the Punch. Ex-customs boss Diko returns 1 billion naira cash to federal government. 2 billion Abuja mansion seized from Comptroller General. Makarfi, other PDP leaders visit Fani Kayode, Obanikoro, Mohammed and Abati in custody. Picture here of the EFCC mark stamped on the mansion. Moving on, despite Niger Delta talks, militants bomb crude export pipelines. 700,000 apply for 500 FIRS jobs. Federal government gets $600 million loan from African Development Bank to resubmit borrowing plan to National Assembly. Amosu meets labor leaders, Ogun workers suspend strike. Court convicts firms of laundering patients Jonathan's $15 million. Appeal court raises fresh panel on Ondo crisis, PDP crisis. Oh goodness, Jim, okay. APC hasn't managed its electoral victory well, says Okorocha. I know you have that story.
I do.
NNPC loses 127 billion naira PIB passes second reading, and federal government okays 8 new private universities. Okay, let's start with the DICO. I think for me has that story.
Yes.
DICO has returned 1 billion naira cash to the federal government. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh.
The ex-customs boss.
Yes.
It's a wow.
And
1 billion.
yes.
Now, where was
And
this
it's still
cash?
returning more.
Where was this cash kept?
The bank.
Bank?
Yeah.
We need to find out more.
Yeah.
It's
And
actually 1 billion 4 million.
Yes.
1 billion and 4 million.
400 million. I mean, something like that.
1 billion, 400 million.
Yes, that was it. And then his house is worth 2 billion. I don't even know who wants to buy that house. They might just break it down and just sell the land to somebody else, because who wants to buy that mansion? I mean,
The house has no window. Go safe. Have you seen the
Why there's window?
Which window? Mosquito gun will be affected to
There's
pass through that window.
Anyway, let's talk about Okorocha. Jumoke.
I have Okorocha in another newspaper. I was going to talk about our ex-president's wife, Patience Jonathan,
yeah.
who, you know that the EFCC went after 2 companies for having
companies, actually.
illegal funds in them.
Yes.
And she came out and said, hold on a minute, it is my money.
Yeah.
Now, the courts have said that these monies were proceeds of criminal proceedings, meaning illegal funds.
Okay.
So now, when monies are gotten illegally, you know, the court can withhold the money. So now we're going to wait and see, because she has sued Serap. She's saying that, no, you can't hold on to my money. She's suing everyone. So I'm going to like to see how this case goes on now that the court has declared the funds
She had
illegal.
sued EFCC and Skybank as well.
Yes, yes. Okay. All right. Moving on very quickly to The Nation. $200 million fines. EFCC probes Adoki, Gusau, and Awondoaka. A picture here of South African police Zuma must go protesters clash. Federal government gets Africa Development's $600 million budget support plan. And CBN releases $300 million to foreign airlines. And new appeal panel for Ondo PDP dispute. I read that Africa Development Bank, they're supposed to actually give us $1 billion, but the first tranche is $600 million, and hopefully they give us six. So, I mean, we thank God for the new boss, Additional, who is ensuring that we get some money to at least help us to give us some liquidity for the our budget.
You see, this guy, his name is Femi Additional too. He's a namesake to our president's special advisor on media and publicity, and he's a fantastic man. Remember, he was former minister of Agri,
yes,
and he did plenty things that we see on the ground.
And so the point
and
is,
he was promoted.
And your point is?
He's just doing fantastic.
No, he was a good guy. He was a good guy.
Okay, all right.
Because I remember when Jonathan was campaigning. When Jonathan, if
That
Jonathan
was the
says
only
one
thing
word, you say
Agriculture.
That was one thing that he was happy on. Okay, but this Gusau story was pretty interesting. Gusau, the Attorney General of the Federation, the former Attorney General of the Adoki Gusau, okay, they're saying that they were not involved in the money that was the $200 million. Just for them to not find a document that one of them actually initiated. Signature on it saying that they actually collected the money. So the case is ongoing. We'll see how that goes.
I have a question as we move on. You see, with BVN, with TSA, tracing funds
It's easy.
is easier in Nigeria.
it's
I
easy.
wonder why all these corruption cases stall for so long.
Thoughts for me?
You know what? They already had behind the scene. There's a game plan, which most of us and most of them were not aware. If only they knew what the BVN will translate to.
Nobody knew.
Prior to the BVN, most of them would have withdrew the money. Yes, some of them have it at home in cash, in dollars, like the First Lady. It's easier prior to the BVN to withdraw all the cash from the bank, even from the companies, change it and keep it in the house, because back then she still had immunity.
True.
So, but most people never knew the technology that it's interwoven.
Yeah.
So by the time now you have a BVN, I mean, no matter where you have your account, if you have 10 accounts and you have, it's just
It's
a
only
single
one
BVN.
Yeah.
It synchronizes together and
Straight.
then you're done. So
Right,
Straight.
she had immunity by marriage.
Let's move on to Vanguard. Senate threatens strike over pending rerun polls. Gives INEC the December 10th the deadline to conduct outstanding polls in Rivers. Federal government appoints transaction advisors on new national carrier. Demolition in Lagos shop owner dies. Another suffers miscarriage. Mrs. Jonathan,
suffers miscarriage.
Mrs. Jonathan, $50 million. Court convicts 4 firms, reserves sentence. Banks loans rise to 13.8 trillion naira. APC hasn't managed victory well, says Okorocha. and oil-producing communities issue a 5-point agenda to federal government. This paper is interesting today. Lots of stories.
Because that 5 points agenda, I would have wanted to, but
No, I
let me
listed it for you because I know you might be interested in this paper. Go
I know,
ahead.
don't worry, I have the 5 points agenda.
Okay.
But I was going to take Okorocha in this
Okay,
newspaper,
okay.
The Vanguard.
Go ahead.
So he went
He
to
has
see.
turned Wheeler.
He went to see the Senate President Saraki yesterday for the first time. And he said he came in his capacity as the
Stakeholder.
chairman
Yes.
of the Governors Forum.
Yes, yes.
And so he said that as much as he was coming late, better late than never.
Okay.
That he remembers how Saraki and all of them worked together
In the trenches.
for APC to bring change. But that after the change came, it seemed like they weren't prepared. Why? Because there's now division between the executive and the National Assembly. That rather than work together hand in hand to bring the change they promised, they've been fighting themselves.
And the problem they're having is not from the opposition. It's
within
their own-
themselves.
Ah,
And then he
please
says-
don't become a wailer. Oh,
He's
Governor.
a wailer.
He's not a wailer. Please, don't become a
He
wailer.
said that the power was given to them was God given, and I wanted to just correct him there that it wasn't just God given, it was Nigerian given. Nigerians actually went to go and vote for them,
we know.
so they have to, they are answerable
We are working
to
on
us
it.
whether they like it.
We are
or
working
not.
on it. We hailers are working on
The
it.
hailers
Okay.
are-
Postcom, please, you have to
The
be there for
hailers
5
and the
point agenda.
hailers. Me, I don't even fall into any category. I'm an observer.
Mariah,
Congratulations.
Postcom
Yes, so
are saying that we have said that the people that went to see the president on Tuesday are not representing us. They gave their own agenda. Our own is not many, it's just 5.
Do you want to go and see the president?
maybe they should go and see the president.
Because your agenda is different from the agenda
No,
of
but
those.
I mentioned yesterday that the president's special advisor on media and publicity said that he was meeting with these leaders first.
Yeah.
They were finally going to meet with the
All the-
militants.
okay.
You know, but Hostcom is saying that they want, amongst other things, pipeline security.
They want
proceeds from gas.
The money they gave them for the glass penalty fund.
Yes.
That money, the part of it come to them.
They want all of it.
30% derivation directly to them, not to the local government or state. So they want them to pass the PIB. And they say that give us the outright contract to secure our pipelines. We want to be the one to secure the pipelines.
Like they had it before.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Polo
Like,
and,
they
yeah,
had it
that.
before.
So
Yes.
just 5 points agenda, very
Okay,
simple.
let's
Straight
move,
to the point.
let's move on to Daily Sun very
I'd
quickly.
like to
So
hear
that
the
place-
president's response to them.
So that one that all those ones carried themselves there.
It's for
that
their
one
own.
is
That one is
inside
for-
their
that is
pockets.
different.
They are not the ones bombing. We the ones that are bombing. This is what we want.
Okay, Daily Sun. Senate threatens strike. Who has that story? Sets December 10th deadline for conclusion of rerun elections or to suspend plenary.
I have it.
Protests shake Abuja as Shiites group march for El Zakzaki. PIB passes second reading in Senate. Ondo Guba Justice Saul Lawa heads fresh panel to hear Jagede's appeal. Deeper Life Varsity, 7 others get approval. And $30 billion loan. Southeast reps set for war.
Mariah,
lots of
quickly,
stories.
if Zaki is still alive, I think the federal government should actually let us see
Intervene.
him.
Yeah.
We should even see that he's alive.
I-
This is over 1 year that he's been
It's
held.
since December. No, it's since December. It's
Yeah,
not 1 year.
almost a year.
But the thing is that this is a democratic government.
Yeah.
One, you cannot just lock somebody
Detain
up.
somebody.
No case, nothing.
No trial.
And you see, it was the clash between his people
And the military.
That's why they detained him. They were not clashing from his orders. They just went to his house and took him just because his people clashed.
Now,
you know, it's
the federal government raised a committee to look into this clash, and the committee came out with a report saying that both the military and the Zakzaki group were culpable in this matter. The Senate is threatening a
Unfortunately, we
strike
can't take that story. I guess we'll continue to talk on the
if
paper.
elections in
Rivers State.
state rerun are not conducted by
right.
December 10.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, should parents leave inheritance for their children? That's our topic today. And later we'll bring in a guest, our makeup artist, joining us on the show. Stay there, also be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Most parents spend lots of money and investment in profitable assets, preparing their children for a better life after their death, while some choose to donate their wealth to charity, citing that each generation should create their own wealth. The reason is to teach their children self-sufficiency and want them to learn to work hard like they did. Now, do we really need to leave inheritance for our children? That's the question, because that's what we've grown up to know, leave inheritance. Even the Bible asks that you leave inheritance for your children's children. To give us your view, you can call us on 070-80668014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read their tweets. Now, I think it was Trump or somebody that was saying recently that he's not going to leave inheritance.
No, not Trump.
Somebody,
Bill
Bill
Gates.
Gates was going to hand everything to charity. And but that's the question. Like, is it appropriate to leave inheritance for your children in today's society? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yes, for me.
Yeah, I know this is your view, and I mean, talking from a little bit from the biblical value, it says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's from Proverbs. But then when it says inheritance back in those days, the inheritance that it's what it means today is, what do you actually leave, the legacy, the education, the value, the character, which they can now build on. That is what, the inheritance, to me, that's my view and opinion on inheritance, not necessarily cash. Because if you leave cash of ₦1 million 4 years ago, that has no value today. So what happens to that child if it's just waiting for inheritance, or the child does not build on that inheritance without the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, and the education to actually work on and trade on that. So,
but we see that some people who their father left inheritance for them, like maybe land. We see
that will increase in value.
It's increasing in value, and today is being useful to them in their future. So,
True.
So there's some inheritances that seem as though is necessary for today's society. When it comes to
I totally agree. If your parents left you a parcel of land in Ikoyi, for instance, maybe they bought it at 4,000 naira then. The value today, you're a multi-millionaire, or, and if you have such, is good. But I listened to Bishop T.D. Jakes once, and he was saying that when you leave money, property to a child without putting in them investments,
Correct.
like education, morals, values, they will spend the inheritance. But if you invest values in them without leaving them property, they will, using those values, their education and everything, they will get their own wealth. So what is most important that a parent leaves their children is education, moral values, culture, tradition, and all of that. I will use an example of myself. My brother once said to me, I think it was last year, that when we were younger, looking at our family members, he assumed that my father didn't strive so much. He was laid back. One house in Lagos, one house in Bongon, and he was okay. But that today, at his own age, he now appreciates my father more, because at least my mother is not living in a rented apartment. She's able to, I think she sold half a plot of the land, and she's renting some of the apartment now that the children have moved out, So, and he still living in a rented apartment at the age at which my father had built a house in his village, built a house in Lagos. He appreciates my father more. I also know of a friend of mine whose father left a lot of property, and it's their mom who is in charge, because she's still alive, because all of them are educated, and so everyone have gone in different ways to make their own money. They're not waiting for their father's money.
Which is good, because my own mother she turned 70 this year, and her own father left her and her siblings with property, almost the entire Dosumu. They have buildings there. Until tomorrow, they still collect rent. They still pay. So that is something you say generational. It still is value today for them. Because even when my mother is flat out broke, she knows that, okay, one money is coming from the lawyer very, very soon. At least I'll get that money. So isn't that what the Bible was asking us to do, to leave some kind of inheritance where even though you're making your own wealth, there's something your children can fall back on? Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk from experience. When my father was alive, first of all, when my grandmother died, My grandmother was a very rich woman. She left a lot of property for her children in Ifo, Abekuta. And guess what? None of them touched anything. They just left it. It has now become a load on we, the grandchildren, because none of us who wants to move to Ifo. I mean, she had like 32 acres of land. Yeah.
Please, I want to farm. Can I come and? Let's start a farm.
You gave it to somebody to be farming. They don't even
Pay.
No remittance.
no remittance, because we are not going to go there. There's another one that Ogun State government seized. That one was acres and acres, maybe 200 or something acres. That nobody, none of her children. But what she did was she educated all her children. So every single one of her children
Built on that.
financially independent. So when she died, none of them were really interested
In her
property.
So why are we amassing wealth for?
So, and
What's
that
the-
is
Exactly.
That
and-
brings me to thank you.
Okay.
Why? Because I have told my daughter, I've educated you. The money, small change I have, I'm enjoying my life. You
I can
work
see
for
that.
your own. So in fact, she's the one that gives me money now. When I went to London, she's the one
Let me
that
come
paid
to
my
Fumi here.
hotel.
Okay, see, and that's why when I defined inheritance, you all have spoken and well said. Inheritance doesn't necessarily translate to cash or land. And we have so many examples. I myself am number 7 in a family of 20.
Jesus Christ of
Okay.
Nazareth.
Yeah, it's a large family, and my father worked as a civil servant.
Okay.
So there's no money. We lived in a rented apartment.
That was
What
then,
we-
no. Since they want to
then.
get money, they make money. Okay.
No, what he instilled on us back then, this is my own life experience from the inheritance.
Yes.
In fact, 2 days ago, I was talking to a brother of mine. I said, you know what? Where he lives right now would be a burden when he's gone, because nobody wants to go to the village where he lives. And the rent there is, I think, 2,000 naira per room. So even if you have 20 rooms, what do you do with 2,000 naira times 20 in a month? And people will come back and beg you. But what he has done is, I am sitting here and I appreciate him more. Back then, he was so strict, and I'm like, whoa, is this really my father? But what he has given us, it's more than the cash or the value. Each one of us, the 20 of us, are all graduates. And nobody needs anything from him. So that is a good inheritance where you can actually build. It doesn't even have to be education. You have people who they've left values of character too, and they've built on that. You can be skilled. So we don't want to let people start calling in and saying, oh, okay, I don't have education, but I'm doing very well. You can be a skilled person in your profession, and the basic education you need to communicate,
But now,
that is it.
For me, going back to the question I asked a few seconds ago,
May I ask
why
why?
are we amassing so much? Because one of the reasons why someone is buying something a billionaire house, a billionaire car,
Okay.
Is to leave it
is
for
to leave
the
their
children.
No,
So
no.
what's the point? If we're saying that the most important thing is education.
You're very right. It's also, I know everybody watching doesn't necessarily have to speak Yoruba, but there's something that says Ashiwe Okuorojo, which means because a fool does not understand. You're
That's why
amassing,
he
you're
amasses
amassing
wealth.
the wealth. I'm not going to mention names here. With our level, with our age group now, you've had some names that does not exist as of today anymore.
True.
Back in the days when we were growing up, you look at those family and you wish, wow, can I be one of that last name? But as we speak today,
They don't
you
have a name anymore.
they don't have a name. You don't even want to associate yourself to that name anymore.
Okay, let me come to Jumoke.
Now, I was going to answer your question of why are we amassing wealth. Poverty is rife.
Yeah.
And so we've become materialistic because of poverty.
Yeah.
In the olden days, if it was certain that you could eat and you had shelter and you had clothing, you were okay.
Yeah.
Because you know that when you die, you're not taking anything away.
No.
Exactly.
So we are amassing wealth today because of security for our children. Now, all of us, at least our parents left houses, were not living in rented apartments. That would have been a burden of some sort. At least I'm happy that my mother is not in a rented apartment. You want to start your life, you are still thinking of how do I help mom see to, so at least she's secure. So if you have a house, maybe in your village, one in the city where you stay, you are okay. My father's house in the village, only God knows in what state it is in now, because since he died, nobody has gone there. My sister has gone once.
All of you that have houses in the village, please convert it to land.
sell?
Not to farm. They're saying we should farm. Yes, let me come to you now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not poverty. It is poverty of the mind.
Poverty mindset.
It is because, I don't want, I can't
I
get.
know my children to suffer. Like suffered.
It's not really
And
actual
also
poverty.
fair.
It is poverty of the mind.
And
it's
fair.
why you just keep on amassing, and you now amass more than you can spend. Now that's why what leads to corruption.
True.
Which is why people now steal. Because a lot of these people who are amassing, and Fumi had talked about a lot of families
That
who-
they've gone now.
who their names, and me, I know many of them. In those days when we were younger, when they mention this name, you say, hey, you can't even find their houses gone safe.
Now,
a lot of times when you over accumulate, your children are now dependent. You don't instill the values in your children. You don't make your children start to work and earn.
Yes.
When your children are not earning, when you die, they will fight, they will quarrel, and then they will
Squander
your wealth.
Interesting, because when my father was growing older, he called myself and my siblings and said, listen, I'm not leaving anything for anybody.
I love that, your
I
dad.
have given you education. That's what I've, and he made it very, very clear. So after he died, nobody was looking for any.
You were not
although there
waiting
are
for
some
property.
people, there's some siblings looking for one money somewhere in one country, and I'm like, Popsy already told me that he ain't got nothing anywhere. It's what we have in our house.
Mariah.
It's your education that you have that he has given to you.
My uncle has a liking for property, so he has houses thrown around. Now, the house that we live in, my cousin once just came and said, if this man goes, it's to turn it to a hotel. Who's going to manage this house?
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring in another guest to share another perspective on this issue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. All right, so we're supposed to have Caroline King as our guest, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. So we now ask one of our makeup artists who actually made YK's makeup. Her name is Ehiogie Regina, to share her experience on this topic. Hi, Regina.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
So you're one of our makeup artists, and you do a fantastic job on YK every day. So we appreciate your work.
Thank you very much.
Now, on this issue of inheritance, we'd like to get your own perspective, especially from your side of town. How it's done, what stories you've heard of people who have actually left inheritance for their children, what happened to those inheritances, and how has it been on your side of town?
Well, I've actually heard a lot of stories on how people leave inheritance for their children. I will use my mother case as an example, whereby her father left a lot of inheritance, land, houses, and at the end of the day, they didn't get to see anything.
Are you serious?
The children saw, because the family member, that's my grandpa, they took everything, not leaving anything for the children. So,
So imagine that kind of situation where they leave something for you, but other family factors come forward to take those inheritance. That's where the education and value system comes in. That if you have that, you probably won't need to fight and compete for that. Interesting. Right, let me ask you this question. Did Fela leave an inheritance for you?
Yes, I will not say he didn't.
Okay.
Because Fela didn't have physical cash.
Okay.
But his music, he left his music. And I remember when I want to just say, when he was alive, he didn't give us shishi. You can't ask him for 20 naira. He's looking at you. Go and work. So all of us, at least the elder ones, we were all independent.
Okay.
We didn't need him for anything.
Yeah.
We had all carved our own way in life. So anything he left for us after that was bonus.
Yes, okay.
So we do not depend on what.
But the shrine is an inheritance.
No,
No, it's not.
Okay.
it's not an inheritance.
Okay.
The shrine, the name, but we actually bought it from the proceeds from his records.
Okay.
Now, before he died, he didn't
Write a will.
He didn't write a will. He died intestate. So anything that we get, we share equally. But he was supposed to sell his license, and he said, no, if I sell it, what will I leave for my children? So after he died, they tried to convince us to sell. So I said, no, that Fela left this for us.
Yes.
Not for us to sell, but for us to continue his legacy.
Yeah.
So what we are doing is not getting money and chopping the money. We are continuing his legacy.
That's fantastic. That's a good point I wanted you to make. Let me take Mordecai. Mordecai from Kaduna, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I want to thank you for the topic you're doing. Let me start by acknowledging Jumoke. Honestly, I've always tried to commend you every day. I always hard on you. But congratulations, my dear sister. Stand, even if you are alone, for the truth. Having said that,
thank you.
On the issue of leaving a good, what do you call inheritance for the children, even the Bible recommends it. Of course, education can be part of it. Tangible things are part of it. But let me tell you the truth. It's not only education. The Bible says a good man. So you should leave houses for your children. Leave farms for them. Don't steal money to leave farm for them. Work to give them the farm and then teach them the importance of also working. Carry them along in the business you're doing. Teach your children how to do business. Teach them how to be truthful. Teach them how to be hardworking. So whatever you leave for them, they will use it well. But if you make they have a cleaner cleaning the house, some people, their children don't know how to sweep. Their children don't know how to cook. Their children don't know how to do any house chore. You expect them to work.
Thanks, Mordecai. Thanks, Mordecai. I wanted to connect what Mordecai just said to what recently transpired with Obi Ezekwesili, where they said her son was getting on Keke Napep. And I think Peter Obi was also saying that his son or his daughter, they had to go and work for themselves. Now, is that not a bit of extreme? Your father, you own... Your mother is Obi Ezekwesili, for heaven's sakes. Why are you entering Keke Napep? No. Is that not a bit of an extreme? Don't you think the basic stuff, like, okay, a car, just the basic stuff, like, it's appropriate to give to a child? Let me jump in.
I disagree with that, because you have to let the children actually see it as it is. Recently, is it this year or last year, you have a governor, is it a minister? That died, the one that was in the car accident with the wife?
Minister.
The minister,
his wife and son.
Now, those children are going to be transition, and it's going to be a V transition, because if they've been spoiled, if they've been waited on, there's nobody to wait on them anymore. So I think it's better we let them see the real and the true and the reality. I, for example, living out of the shores of this country, and couple of my sons felt, oh wow, we have it all together. And I'm like, you know what? I want you to come back and see the other side.
Reality.
Okay, so, let me take this call from Yakub.
And that woke them up.
Yeah. Yakub, are you there?
I'm there.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning to you all. Because of time, I believe, my own personal opinion, I believe that a good inheritance is a good education. Any form of education at all, any form of education that your children can be able to stand on his own or her own when you are no more. Because if you leave a big house, cars and all that, at the end of the day, if you don't give your children a good education, any form of education, when you are no more, all those things that you leave behind is going to sell it off, and then you find that that's not going to release.
Thanks,
Yakub. When he said form of education, that covers what we've said. It doesn't really have to be the MBA, the PhD, the medical doctor. It means skill in any profession. You can even be a cleaner, but you're skilled in your profession, that you can actually, you can be a caterer, a cook, but you're skilled. I mean, the cook in the villa now, I mean, that's something. It's different from somebody who is still struggling.
I'm not even talking about just skill. That education is values. It's a value system. If you don't have the correct value system. And
all right, let me take Ismail. I'll come to you, Rejan, again. Ismail, are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
My regards to everyone in the house.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to contribute. There are a lot of people that used to leave property for their children.
and after time, they could not be able to manage it. Of recent, I think they rent to somebody who inherited a lot of property for his father, and they turned their house into fraud business. A lot of things is happening in that way. But if you look at the white men, the Western world, they left property from their children. Most of their businesses that have good names like Guinness is an inheritance from the white men to their children. They left legacy, like Fela has left for the children, and they continue the trend of what they have left. Now, only wealth could not make future for the child. Even what you think is an education is a little of it, because there's difference between academical education and technical education.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
So
thank you very much, Ismail. Let me let Regina jump in here.
Like,
yes.
for my own experience, while I was growing up, my father made me understand, because it was as if I wasn't serious, because I waited for admission and it wasn't forthcoming. So he made me understand that the only thing he had in life to give me was the education part. So while I got into school in my year 1, I now realized what he was telling me way back. That was why I had to push forward and then went into my makeup trade.
Business.
So, and nobody advised me to. It was because of the experience I saw in life, and then he wasn't even supporting, because he made me to just stay on your own and then push life forward. So he is trying to make me stand and not believe that I have a father at my back, and then I have one inheritance. I'm going to fall back on while he's gone.
Fantastic.
So
let me take this call from
with
Justice. Hang in there, okay. Justice, are you there? Justice, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Please go ahead. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
I appreciate every one of you. Sincerely speaking, I appreciate this topic. This that has to do with inheritance. Actually, the Bible commends it. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Very
Yes,
clearly.
can hear you.
Yeah. Please, it is a very, very nice topic, and I hope everybody is listening. The Bible said we should have self-sufficiency. There is no time the Bible said we should go and steal money and to leave inheritance for our family members. No. Once you are able to give your family the basic thing, other things will come. Especially if they have the morals, they have the value, they have education, sincerely speaking, all will go well with them. But if you are making ends meet by stealing people's wealth, sincerely speaking, it will not go down too well with the kids. I look at Fela, I adore him. He was never convicted because he stole money. No, he stands for truth. He stands for justice. And let's see the kids. Are they not doing well? And all of you there. I'm not your father, your parents left for you people.
Thank you very much, Justice.
Yes, Waike was going to say that.
I'm saying I do agree with inheritance. If I have, I would love to leave for my daughter. I would love to, so that whatever she's doing, it will just. But what I want is for her to use it to enhance whatever she has started doing now. Not for her to just be sitting there and waiting.
I want to
Let my mother die quickly. Oh,
It was because of that education that you're able to see Fela's music as value to translate into what it is today.
If not, they would have sold it.
Or even
for
spend the
money.
money,
Now, my father left me an inheritance in the sense that he didn't leave us any debts. He didn't leave us any bad name that they will say, Omalaode, he stole anywhere. Never. He was a true Christian. And the first thing that he put me on the line of was to know God. From childhood, I knew God, because that's the inheritance that he left. And I'm grateful to God that he worked, he was well educated and left a house. To the extent that my mother is not paying rent. So those are the values that we have learned also. Get an education, work. If you leave a house for your children, make sure that you train them so that they are not depending on that house.
Exactly. Fantastic.
But they are not left with debts. And they also have something to fall back on. If their business doesn't work out, at least money from rent
What you said remind me, I think I've shared this story before, because my father told me then that, especially when they tried to bribe, when the military dictator then tried to bribe him, he carried us along. He said, listen, they gave me this amount of money and I'm rejecting it. And I want you to be witness to the fact that I am rejecting it because of your own future. So tomorrow they won't say, Akaba Sharon was one of those that collected he told us. So those are the kind of inheritances that although when I was younger, I didn't appreciate it. I wanted the Bodilon house.
Yes.
This man, please, everybody's moving to the island. But I don't know what's still in Bagada. That kind of thing. So, but now I appreciate it. I totally appreciate the fact that my father did not steal from the government.
You could have
I have to take a commercial break.
Collect kickback.
Yeah,
You know,
kickback.
stealing and
Let's take a
kickback
quick
are
break. When we
different.
come back, we'll continue to take more phone calls and tweet on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. All right, let's take some tweets. Yes, Jumoke, any tweets? YK?
Yes, there's this tweet that I wanted to take. He said, I'm sorry, let me just take it, because leaving a strong family which are in harmony with each other will be the best inheritance.
Yeah.
And I think that is
apt.
something very profound, because I know this family, the father was very rich. All the children, he settled all of them well before he passed. He didn't leave a will. Now, but what he did is he left the two younger ones in charge of everything by companies. So when he died, the eldest son, say you didn't, no, till today, they are fighting.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, yes.
Yeah, I'm Adiola. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Yes, go ahead, Adiola.
What I understand about leaving inheritance, I think the best legacy to leave is education.
Okay.
Let's take, for example, Fela's father, that's Reverend Ransom Kuti. He happens to be the first principal of my school. And, the best legacy he left for his children is education, not the properties and everything around him. The fame, everything came with education. Yeah. So I think the best legacy is education.
Thank you very much, Adela.
May I take other tweets? Sharafadin Adesoya says, God institutes inheritance not only for descendants but even ascendants, as the case may be, just for upkeeping. Ralph Chooks, and YK, I'd like you to respond to him. He initially had said that, but you're not keeping up Fela's legacy. And then he now said, I'm 100% sure Fela can never keep quiet over this failure government, assuming he was still alive. You'll come back to that later. Mike Richard said it's an advantage and disadvantage, but advantage outweigh the disadvantage. It will reduce the struggle. Big Bami says anybody that hurts people to give their children inheritance might be leaving a huge curse for their children.
Right, I have a call. Taufik, are you there from Abeokuta? Oshogbo?
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, Taufik.
You see, I'm coming in a different angle.
Okay.
You see, basically all of us are talking about education. What about our forefathers those in the village that believe in farming?
Yes, no.
Whatever a father is doing,
we said that already. We said when we say education,
they should try to induct them on their kids.
Yes.
After all, it's legal. So with that, at least let them know that this is how you are going to earn a living. From there you go on. You know, the issue of maybe we say, okay, money. All is not money. Because even if you give a child 10 billion naira cash, he may still use it.
Yes, sir.
So basically, what a parent is doing to earn a living that he knows is holistic and is legal.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Taufik. That's a good angle.
But I took it for granted.
I just want to respond to that tweet.
Yes.
And I will refrain from using insultive words. Because what you don't know, do not say.
Okay.
Do you understand? Femi, Sheun, they do not keep quiet. If he doesn't know, he should go and find out. He should do his homework properly. Stop saying rubbish. Stop talking rubbish. Femi and Sheun don't keep quiet. I even don't keep quiet.
Okay.
So, what is he saying?
Okay, point taken.
I also took it for granted when Fumi said skill, that that had covered everything. When we say education, the white-collar education is the colonialists that brought it. Yeah. In the days of our forefathers, education was such that a goldsmith's son would also learn how to be a goldsmith. A fisherman's son would be a fisherman. And they passed on values, they passed on their trade. A herbalist, grandchildren would be herbalists too. True. So when we say education, it's not really about learning engineering.
And interesting, I know a rich man today, a rich man who has actually shared his inheritance already. He has called all his children and given everybody their own. I know one of his kids is my good friend. The father shared her own property to her.
I think you mentioned it already.
So right now, so he's now with his own wife and his wife enjoying his life. When he dies and he logs out, he will now whatever is left, he'll give to whoever. But every child, please go your own way. I'm giving you your own property, which I think is fair. But we have to round up. Let me let Regina and Fumi have the last words. Your last words on this inheritance matter.
My last word on this inheritance matter is that you don't leave. I don't advise you leaving inheritance for your children, even if you have to leave. But because why you leave inheritance when they will fight over it at the end of the day, or why the children will get to even see the inheritance at the end of the day? I just believe you train your children, give them the best education. If you can afford education, give them the best training. Let them learn a skill, handwork or something.
Great, but inheritance is sweet.
I like it.
When all of you are educated, and it's like a buffer, it's like an addition.
That is what I said. I want.
So
it's
as much
buffer.
as we are saying that, oh, don't leave inheritance. But imagine we are all siblings and we are best of friends,
yes.
and our father leaves $1 billion, and we're like, okay, you're the oldest, you share, and we all agree 25 million, and we are all happy. That's fantastic inheritance.
May I use the example of my friend again? That
Yes.
their mother is still alive,
Yes.
so she's the one in charge
Yes.
of their father's estate,
Yes.
because they are all educated, they're not dependent on it. But when the mother logs out, of course they are going to amongst themselves, okay, we are this many children,
Yes.
so you take this house, you take that
Yes.
house. It's a good thing.
That's why
Yes.
I say inheritance is not supposed to see you through. Like, it's supposed to enhance your
a
life,
buffer.
not
Yeah.
to start your life for you. Start
Yeah.
your life, enjoy your life,
Yeah.
continue. Then if your
But
parents
my father, the
leaves you anything,
that Fuja man, I said till tomorrow, my mother is 70 years old. She's still collecting. It's just an addition.
I will leave
addition.
property for
So
my
God's grace
children.
and mercy, I will leave property.
I will leave property
Fumi,
for my
your last
children.
words, I have to run out.
I mean, inheritance, like we all said, it's just a step on two. If you don't train properly, I mean, for our audience, education, it's a compass, not just school. It means a trade. Whatever you can impact on your children, the values, the morals, then they build on it. If you don't do that, then you know what happens after, just like you said, either logged out or deleted or
and
wiped
those
out.
people who are saying
whichever.
that we have not continued Fela's legacy,
Okay.
go and do your homework.
Okay, we get the point.
I must talk.
Point is that Fela and
I must
Femi
talk,
and
Femi.
Shehu are
are
continuing the
carrying the
legacy
legacy.
of.
And if he doesn't know,
point.
go and find out.
All right,
Don't
that's
just
all
be
we can
talking.
take on the show. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Okay, relax.
Get out.